So Hunter's facing up to 17 years on tax charges. How is the media reacting to this story?
Hunter Biden is not President Joe Biden, and there is no allegation in the 56-page indictment that the president did anything wrong. He's not even mentioned.
There'll be a conflation here by Republicans. See, Hunter Biden committed crimes, Joe Biden, the Biden crime family, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But again, there has not been, that link has not been drawn yet.
No, it hasn't. There's yet to be any evidence that President Biden had anything to do with the criminal charges his son now faces.
Republicans have been trying for 2 years, Anderson, to link the president to his son's activities, and that hasn't really panned out. There's been no financial gain shown for Biden. And so in that sense, this is about his son. It's not about him.
Here now with reactions, Tulsi Gabbard, former Democratic presidential candidate. Tulsi, this indictment of Hunter is being played in the mainstream media as almost absolving Joe Biden.
You know what's interesting about that, Will, with every clip that you just played, none of them has admitted the fact, and really one of the key problems with Special Counsel Weiss's investigation is that none of these issues with regards to Hunter Biden's foreign influence peddling business model has been even looked at. So, the information that Republicans in Congress have sought to get to follow this trail of what appears to be increasing evidence that President Biden has been implicated or benefited in some way from Hunter Biden's business, they've had a really hard time getting it. And this is the problem. Is this whole thing began with trying to get Hunter Biden off with this sweetheart deal. They weren't able to get away with it. Now they're continuing. OK, we'll levy some other charges against him and hope that people will be distracted by it without really addressing the most important issue that impacts the integrity of the presidency and the upcoming election. I'll just mention real quick that the reason the timing of this is so important and why pressure needs to continue from the American people to demand the truth and from leaders in Congress is we already saw leading up to the 2020 campaign the extent to which the Biden campaign went to try to hide Hunter Biden's laptop information from the American people because they were afraid that it would influence the way that they voted.
Right.
Well, we're heading into another extremely consequential election. My fear is that the Harris-Biden administration, the Biden campaign, the Department of Justice will go to greater extent to once again pull the wool over the American people's eyes to try to protect them from knowing the real truth.
And Tulsi, they had a willing partner in the media and in social media in censoring that story at that time because they saw Joe Biden as integral to stopping Donald Trump. The question will be, as we head into 2024, does the media still consider Joe Biden useful in stopping Donald Trump? So if his poll numbers continue to tank, I would watch. I would put our finger on the pulse of the media. Do they continue to vigorously defend Joe Biden? The moment they stop is the moment we realize they're moving on from Joe Biden.
You're exactly right, Will, and that is the truth the American people need to pay attention to, is that when we talk about permanent Washington, we're not just talking about the Democrat elite or certain politicians. We're talking about the people who care more for maintaining and growing their own power in big tech and social media, in the propaganda media, in both elected and appointed political leaders. They will do whatever it takes to keep their power, even if it means continuing to undermine the rule of law and destroy the foundation of freedom and democracy that we celebrate in America.
And Gavin Newsom is waiting in the wings for that moment. Tulsi Gabbard, great to see you and speak with you tonight.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.